Good morning, students. Welcome to Chanakya Academy online classes. Standard 10th, Subject Science, Chapter number 6, Life Processes. Welcome, students. Yes, students, so we have done human digestive system, how the food is traveling from mouth to esophagus to stomach to small intestine, large intestine and anus. Okay, so this is the alimentary canal which we did yesterday. Okay, now you know that when the food is traveling, okay, or when the food is moving down, the complex food material is broken down into simplest form. Okay, whatever food which we are taking, they are in the form of either carbohydrate, protein or fat. Okay, so all these three things are complex macromolecules, and this has to be broken down into simplest micromolecules, and this is done by various juices which is secreted at various levels. Now, what are these juices? These juices are enzymes. Okay, again I'll tell you. At various steps, juices are secreted. And what are these juices? These juices are enzymes, and that enzymes help in breaking down of complex molecule into simpler molecules. Okay, so when the food is traveling from mouth towards small intestine, the food gets completely digested, or you can say it gets completely broken down into simplest molecule. So this is the last point where your food is broken down. Okay, so complex will be broken down into simpler ones. Now what is happening? Okay, at each levels there will be some secretion, and this secretion help in digesting. Now what are these secretion? Where are these secretion causing? That we will study in our next page. Okay. Yes. Now we studied about alimentary canal. Now how exactly the food gets digested? Okay, that means we have to now digest our food. So you can say I have just shown the pathway. Okay, that is from mouth, it will go to esophagus. From esophagus, it will go to stomach. From stomach, the food will travel to small intestine. So these are the four areas where the food will travel. And as I told you, small intestine will be the last point where your complete digestion of food will take place. Okay, now one by one we will study this. And students, this topic is very important because there are many terms and technologies, okay, which is coming. Okay, where various terms are there. Now what terms are there? Let us see. Mouth. From mouth, the food has entered into the buccal cavity, which consists of two things: tongue, which is the first, and teeth, which is the second. Tongue. What this tongue will do? As you know that the teeth will chew and cut our food. But yesterday we discussed that some secretion should be there, some watery material should be there, which will help the food to make it easier to cut into pieces, and that is with the help of saliva. Okay, so saliva is there which help in cutting the food particles. First thing. Second, this saliva is a kind of enzyme. Okay, now see. Below our tongue, we will have a gland. Okay, the gland is known as salivary gland. Okay, that salivary gland will secrete saliva. Okay, the water which you see in your mouth is saliva, which is keeping your mouth moist. Okay, but that is only 1 to 2% of function of saliva. But the main function of saliva is they secrete a very important enzyme called as salivary amylase. Okay, it is secreting an enzyme called amylase, and where it is secreting? Inside saliva. So it is called as salivary amylase. Understood? Again I will tell you. Okay, what we discussed, that teeth is doing a function of chewing and cutting. This is done with the help of a liquid which is called as saliva. Okay, so saliva is helping in grinding the food, in cutting the food, in chewing the food. But along with that, it is also helping in digesting or breaking down of complex material into a simpler form. From where we are getting this saliva? A gland is present below our tongue which will continuously secrete saliva, and that gland is salivary gland. So salivary gland will secrete saliva. Saliva is having an enzyme called as salivary amylase which will help in breaking starch into a molecule known as maltose. Okay, maltose. So your starch will be broken down into a little bit simpler compound. And how it is being done? It is done with the help of salivary amylase. So your digestion starts from mouth. But see, again I'll tell you one thing here. Though digestion has started, but it has not completed. Only carbohydrate, that is in the form of starch, will be broken down into a little simpler compound. So you can say it is a partial digestion of carbohydrate is taking place in mouth. Not complete digestion, partial digestion. Okay, that means we can say that small big molecules. Okay, suppose this is a molecule of starch, so this molecule will be broken down into simpler molecule. Okay, so it will be cut by the amylase, and what you will get, a little simpler compound. Okay, now we'll move further. From mouth, after doing this function, the food travels to esophagus. This esophagus is not doing any important function. It is not secreting any juice. But still, what does esophagus do? You can say it is connecting mouth to stomach. So whatever food, or you can say the partially digested food, travels towards stomach with the help of a long tube of esophagus. Okay, then this esophagus, how it will travel? It will perform a function, a movement which is called as parastatic movement. That means I told you what it will be, a continuous contraction and relaxation of the muscles. Okay, so esophagus will be lined by various tissues, various muscles. So that muscles will contract and relax. And what they will do? They will allow the food to travel downward, because where it has to go? It has to go towards stomach. So with the help of these movements, the food from mouth goes towards stomach. Okay, shall we move further? Understood the topic? Yes, let's move further now. Coming to stomach. Okay, now stomach. Where is this stomach situated? This stomach is situated at left side of abdomen. Okay. Second thing is, the food which has entered into stomach, it will remain in stomach for 3 hours. Okay, and whatever food which now have entered into stomach, it will be in the form of a semi solid paste. Okay, it will be in the form of semi solid paste. Why? Because it has been cut into pieces and it has mixed with saliva. Okay, now see, this stomach is very important. So please pay attention whatever things I am telling you. Okay, now this stomach will secrete gastric juices. Okay, what it will secrete? It will secrete gastric juices. These gastric juices help in further digestion. Okay, that means the gastric juices will be secreted by the wall of the stomach, and this gastric juices will help in digestion of food. So you can see I have written 3 important points. Okay, first one is HCl, that is hydrochloric acid. Second one, mucus, and third one is pepsinogen. So these 3 things are very important in our stomach. One by one I'll take the function. Please listen here very carefully. This HCl, it is acidic in nature. Okay, hydrochloric acid in nature. So what this HCl will do? It will make that food paste. Okay, it will make that acidic. Okay, so whatever thing which comes into stomach, the HCl will make it acidic. Okay, now this HCl, what it will do? It will activate the enzyme. Okay, what it will do? This HCl will activate the enzyme. Which enzyme? Pepsin. Which enzyme, students? Pepsin. So this HCl will make the inactive enzyme. What is that inactive enzyme? Pepsinogen. And that pepsinogen will be converted into active enzyme pepsin with the action of HCl. Understood? HCl is very important in activating pepsin. Now what this pepsin is doing? This pepsin is making the protein component to break into smaller molecules. Okay, so carbohydrate is digested in mouth. A partial digestion of carbohydrate is done in mouth with the help of enzyme amylase. Now in stomach, what is happening? Protein is digested. Partial digestion, again I am telling you, complete digestion of protein will not take place. So this protein will be broken down into smaller molecules with the help of which enzyme? Pepsin, P-E-P-S-I-N, pepsin, pepsin protein, protein pepsin. Like this you will learn. Okay, so protein will be partially digested with the help of pepsin. How this pepsin will be activated? It will be activated by HCl, which is secreted by the walls of stomach. Clear? Function of HCl and function of pepsin. Now, HCl will again perform one more function. That is, it will kill the bacteria which have entered into stomach. Okay, so whatever bacteria which entered into stomach with food, it will be killed by this HCl secretion. So HCl is performing two functions. First one is activating the enzyme pepsin, and second, killing the bacteria. Okay, so bacteria is killed with the help of HCl. Understood? Sure? Let's move further. So we saw the two main things, that is HCl as well as pepsin. Now we'll move further towards mucus. Now, this mucus is very important. Okay, now see. This mucus, it protects our stomach. From whom? Okay, you must be thinking from whom our stomach should be protected. Bacteria is killed by HCl. Nothing else is there. But here, we have HCl in stomach. What it is? It is acidic in nature. So this acidic nature can rupture our cells. Which cells I am talking about? The stomach cells. Okay, that is lining inner. Okay, so inner wall of the stomach or the cells will be ruptured by this HCl secretion first. Okay, second, we know that pepsin is helping in protein digestion. And we also know this, that the cells are made up of protein also, and there are other various components of proteins also which are present in cells. So that protein can also be digested. Okay, so we need to protect our stomach. Okay, the inner wall I'm talking about. We need to protect the inner wall of stomach from HCl also and from pepsin also. Otherwise, what will happen? It will either rupture by HCl or it can be digested by pepsin. So now comes the role of mucus. What it is doing? See, I'll just tell you what it is doing. Suppose this is our inner wall of stomach. I'm drawing here. Okay. This is the inner wall of stomach. Okay. Now this will secrete HCl. What they will secrete? They will secrete LCl. Okay. So the food which entered, okay, suppose this is the food which have entered. So if any bacteria is there, then this HCl will come there. Okay, so once HCl is secreted, just immediately after that, a thick layer of mucus will be formed on the inner wall. Okay, like this. Now, when the mucus is forming a layer, at that time, two things are happening. The HCl is killing the bacteria, and second thing, it is making the pepsin. Okay, so this is pepsin. Now the role of HCl is finished. It has killed the bacteria and it has made the pepsin. Now what this mucus is doing? Okay, this mucus, as you can see, has made a thick layer. So the HCl cannot enter or cannot touch our wall of the stomach, and it helps our wall to protect from HCl. Second, these pepsin also cannot move inside and it cannot digest our cells protein. Okay, so this mucus is doing, or you can say protecting our stomach. Okay, so this is a protective layer and it is protecting from two things. Okay, so mucus is protecting our stomach from HCl. Okay, and it will not rupture, and it is also protecting from pepsin, which is not digesting our stomach. Hope you understood. Again I'll tell you. Again I'll repeat the three things. HCl, mucus, pepsinogen are secreted by the walls of stomach. HCl will make the content acidic in nature and it will kill the bacteria. This HCl will make the inactive pepsinogen into active pepsin. That pepsin will help in digesting the protein into small molecules. This pepsin is a enzyme. Okay. Now mucus will help protect our own body, on specifically stomach, by not allowing the HCl to kill or rupture our wall of the stomach, and it is also protecting from pepsin. Okay, so HCl doing two function, killing bacteria and activating pepsin. Mucus is also doing two function, protecting from HCl and protecting from pepsin. Okay, now we know that in our body now we have this HCl secretion, which is making our stomach acidic. Okay, and causing acidity. Now this word acidity, you must be knowing, students. Okay, you must have heard that various patients are telling that we have acidity. Okay, what is this acidity? That is the secretion of HCl in your stomach, and this secretion of HCl causes acidity. And what are we doing? If we are having this acidity, we need to control them, we need to eliminate. And how we are eliminating it? By taking components which is having basic. Okay, so acid can be neutralized by basic. So what we are drinking, either we are taking tablets or we are taking medicines, and that medicines will have a basic nature. HCl is having acidic nature. Okay, so this is your HCl, and we are taking ENO or some any other. And what is that ENO? That is base. So ultimately our stomach will be neutralized. Okay, and at the end we will be relieved from acidity. Okay, so acidity, whenever you hear this word acidity, automatically just remember that your stomach is secreting HCl and you need to stabilize it by taking some basic components. Okay, now let's move further. I hope that this topic, okay, is clear. Now move to small intestine. Now this small intestine is again very important. Okay, now food from stomach moves into small intestine where complete digestion of food will take place. But when the food is entering into small intestine, very important thing is present, that is the sphincter. Okay, now what is this sphincter? I'll tell you. It is a gate. Okay, it is made up of muscles and it is acting as a gate. Now you must be thinking why we require gate. But see, what is happening? Food is passing towards small intestine. Okay, so we need to have gate so that the food doesn't backflow. Okay, backflow means the food from stomach is going to small intestine, and we have to see that the food once entered into small intestine doesn't go back into stomach. So what we have a gate which opens or which will allow the food to move only in one direction. From stomach, the food will always enter into small intestine and it is checked by a sphincter. Okay, so what we will have? We will have a gate. And what is that gate? That gate is your sphincter. Okay, so you can say that when it is moving downward, at this point we will have a sphincter that will allow the food to enter into small intestine, but it will not move upward. This sphincter will be like a shutter, like a gate, which will not allow the backflow of food. Okay, now move to small intestine. Now, once the food enter into small intestine, the three main components, that is carbohydrate, protein and fat, all of them will be digested into the simplest one. Wow, like carbohydrate will be digested to glucose, protein will be digested to amino acids, fat will be digested to fatty acid and glycerol. Okay, as I told you, complete digestion. Yes, complete digestion is taking place. So the main complex material, okay, these three are what? Complex material: carbohydrate, protein and fat. All the complex material will be broken down into simpler component, or you can say component which can be easily absorbed. Okay, so this simplest component which you see, glucose, amino acid, fatty acid and glycerol, it can be easily taken by large intestine. Okay, so now liver and pancreas, I told you these two are what? Glands. Okay, liver and pancreas. And this liver and pancreas, what it will do? It will secrete juices. Liver will secrete bile, pancreas will secrete pancreatic juice. Understood? I'll again say, liver will secrete bile, pancreas will secrete pancreatic juice. Okay, and all these two juices will be poured into small intestine. Where it will be poured? It will be poured into small intestine. And these juices are made up of three important enzymes: amylase, trypsin and lipase. What this amylase will do? Amylase will help in digestion of carbohydrate. So carbohydrate will be broken down into glucose by amylase enzyme. Protein will be broken down into amino acid by trypsin enzyme. Fat will be digested to fatty acid and glycerol by lipase enzymes. Understood? Now, liver, as you know, is secreting bile. Okay, and this bile will be stored in gallbladder. I'll just show you the diagram. Yes, here. This diagram we did previously. Now the things will be clear to you. Just concentrate on liver and pancreas. Okay, now you can clearly see the liver. Okay, liver will secrete bile. Okay, and it will be stored in gallbladder. You can see here gallbladder. Yes, pancreas will secrete juice. Okay, now gallbladder is storing bile. So bile coming from the gallbladder, okay, will be called as bile duct. Duct is what? It is a tube which is carrying bile coming from gallbladder. Okay, so that is bile duct. So bile duct and your pancreatic duct. Okay, you can see a small line over here. Okay, so these two will be having a one common point, and both of them will secrete the juices in your small intestine. Can you see from the diagram? Yes, this portion is your gallbladder. Okay, this is your liver. Liver secreting bile, storing in gallbladder. This is pancreas, making pancreatic juice. Bile is coming downward back from the stomach. Okay, it will not come in forward, it will come from back side, and it will pour downward. From pancreas also, pancreatic duct will come, and both of them will join at a common point, and both of them will pour the juice into small intestine. Understood? Yes. Let's come back. Yes. So in small intestine we have liver and pancreas, and two are secreting bile and pancreatic juices, and this helps in digestion of carbohydrate, protein and fat. So now complete digestion is taken place and food enters into large intestine, and there the digested food, or you can say simplest molecule which is formed, okay, these are the simplest molecule, are absorbed by large intestine. So large intestine will absorb all these digested food particles. Okay, so whatever digestion has now completed from complex to simpler one need to be absorbed, and this absorption is taken place in large intestine. So small intestine is that area where complete digestion has taken place. Understood? So with this I finished with digestion of food. Tomorrow from textbook we will see the points which we have discussed. Along with that we will see large intestine. What are the main functions of large intestine? What is large intestine doing? Okay, and we will also see how the waste material is moving outward. But before ending, please make proper notes of stomach and small intestine. These two are very important topics. Also, the enzymes which are given, please learn them properly. Okay, hope this video makes the concepts clear and you know the topic. Okay, the digestion of food. Thank you.